What's going on, Arizona sports fan family? How are we doing out here today on this Wednesday morning, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome in. Come one, come all. Yes, we are here to talk some Arizona Cardinals combine slash Jalen Carter. We have a lot to talk about today, ladies and gentlemen. Big shout out to everybody that's currently in the chat right now. Huge shout out. Thank you guys so much for being here. I absolutely do appreciate it. If you guys this is your first time here, definitely go ahead and subscribe it up. Subscribe to the AZ Sports Fan here on YouTube. We're on the road to 12K. Also, smack the like button on this video. Right now, we have upwards of 50 plus people in here right now, and the show just started, ladies and gentlemen. So go ahead and subscribe and smack that like button, ladies and gentlemen. But we got definitely a lot to talk about today. A lot to talk about and a lot to dive right into here for the world of the Arizona Cardinals, the NFL Combine, as well as the NFL Draft, because we did get some breaking news today, ladies and gentlemen, and it has to do with one of the top prospects heading into this year's NFL Draft, and that is Jalen Carter, ladies and gentlemen. I'm pretty sure most of you guys in the chat already heard about it, but let's dive right into it, and let's go ahead and let's talk about it, right? So reports initially came out here from Adam Schefter, and then all other people from Twitter also chimed in as well. Your Ian Rappaport, everybody else as well. But let's go ahead and focus on this report here from Adam Schefter, and it says this: more about the police securing arrest warrants from former Georgia star Jalen Carter, stemming from the top NFL prospects alleged involvement in a fatal crash involving a teammate. Now, obviously, that's a little vague, right? You got to click onto the ESPN article so you're able to go ahead and look into it. But if you look at this specific tweet, it's all pertaining to the same thing, right? We have Ari over here saying an arrest warrant has been issued for Georgia defensive tackle and potential #1 overall pick Jalen Carter for reckless driving and racing. Stems from January 15th crash that took the life of a teammate and staffer. Carter is on schedule to speak at the NFL Combine at 10:30 Eastern Time. Now, we already were told that he wasn't speaking anymore, right? Like at one point he was scheduled to speak with them, but at this very moment, ladies and gentlemen, that there was no more interview from Jalen Carter, which I believe is the smart thing to do, right? Especially because you have a warrant for your arrest. This is big deal. This is an absolute big deal. Now, I think for the most part, there have been a group of people that already told me like, hey, Mike, he is in trouble for off the field issues, right? And I think we all kind of knew that behind our minds, but we didn't really know of the severity of the issue or the involvement of the issue. I guess that's the better way of placing it, right? But now that there was breaking news coming out of the county from where this incident happened, and now knowing that he was actually within the car and with the reports saying his involvement is a little tricky there, right? It's definitely a little tricky. I'm assuming he's going to be serving some jail time. We're not 100% sure about all the details and what's going on and what's coming out of Indy. All we know right now is that there is a warrant for the arrest of Jalen Carter because of reckless driving. And during that incident, somebody lost their life. So let me get to this contribution here real quick coming up from BBH. What's up, brother? He says, if Chicago trades their pick, we shouldn't. If Chicago trades their pick, we shouldn't. If they don't trade their pick, then we should trade. Yes, I agree. 100% agree. Yeah, I think at this very moment, this definitely affects the value of Jalen Carter going #1 overall. 100%. This affects it. 100%. At one moment, right, I think a lot of Arizona Cardinal fans felt like we were in a good spot, including myself, right? Including myself, because we were sitting at the third overall spot with two top generational talent defensive players available in this coming draft. Right now, I get it. There's some people out there that they don't like using the term generational talent because, we've seen people come out in generational talent and don't really work out in the NFL, right? But this is as sure and as good as it gets, right? The draft is lottery picks. It's as good as gambling, right? You're putting your chips in on a specific player, especially if you're picking him up in the first round, to hope that he's going to shake out, right? To hope that he's going to work out for the Arizona Cardinals. But being that we might not see Jalen Carter available, in the beginning, because we don't know, right? We don't know if he's going to be able to attend training camp, right? We don't know how long this jail sentence is going to be, right? We don't truly know. So that's the concerning, right? There's a lot of unknown heading into this year's draft now. And I think the Arizona Cardinals are in a situation where we can still land very good prospects. It's just really depending on how it works out, right? Just like my guy BBH said, like if Chicago stays pat, I think it's very obvious that the Chicago Bears are going to go Will Anderson Jr., right? I think that's very obvious right now. Now, is Jalen Carter still in contention? Yeah, some people might say so, right? But the thing is that there has to be a lot more involvement. There needs to be a lot more digging and a lot more investigation to happen to really figure out what's going to happen with the future of Jalen Carter moving forward. So I do agree with what you're saying, though, BBH, for sure. If the Chicago Bears stay, then we probably are looking to be the best trade scenario for any quarterback needy team, right? Because if Tyree Wilson is the guy for the Arizona Cardinals, if Miles Murphy is the guy for the Arizona Cardinals, it gives us a little bit more wiggle room to trade back and accumulate more picks. So at this very moment, we'll see. It sucks to hear that we might not have a chance at Will Anderson because of this situation with Jalen Carter. Now, is Jalen Carter still going to get drafted? Yeah, he probably still can be, right? If there is a later round team that wants to still get the rights to him as a player, because let's be honest, he's still a beast. He's still a freakish athlete. He's still a very top prospect coming out of this year's draft. If a later first round pick team wants to, go after him, we could still see him get picked up in the first round, right? It's just now it's getting a little sticky. Now it's getting a little hairy to kind of see if he's going to get drafted in the top 10, which at this very moment, it's kind of TBD. I don't know what's going to happen with Jalen Carter moving forward, but it obviously gives us some sort of, I guess, more kind of scenarios on what can happen with the Arizona Cardinals heading into this 2023 NFL draft. I guess that's the best way to describe what's going on at this very moment. So, a lot of news coming out here. I know we got some new people coming in here, but basically this is what we're discussing. We got breaking news coming out of the world of the NFL, and it has to do with one of the top prospects heading into this year's NFL draft. And this is the best tweet that I can kind of summarize in what's going on. It is from Ari, and it says this: an arrest warrant has been issued for Georgia defensive tackle number 1 overall pick Jalen Carter for reckless driving and racing. Stems from the January 15th crash that took the life of a teammate and staffer. Carter is, so the bottom part is irrelevant, where it says he's scheduled to speak in the combine. They ended up pulling him out. So he's no longer speaking with the combine at this very moment. So at this very moment, we're just kind of have to wait and see and figure out what the Cardinals are going to do, right? Now, we did release a video yesterday pertaining to Monty Osenfort coming out and saying that we are taking calls, right? The the third overall pick, we're taking calls at this very moment. Now, with this breaking news, it gives us a little bit more of, what's the word? I guess, ability to do that, being that Jalen Carter might not be available in 2023 to start, right? And to kind of give up that high of use that high of a draft pick on somebody that might not be available because of jail time is a little sticky there, right? What's up? What's going on, brother? I said this right before. Dues, right? Dues. Dudes, there you go. Dudes, what's up, dudes? Appreciate you, man. He says generational talent is so cliche. They haven't proven anything in the NFL yet. TB12 is a generational talent. Reggie White is generational talent. Yeah, no, I agree. I 100% agree with you. I think with this whole situation, with any team, right? With any team picking in the top 10, you want to get as sure as you possibly can get, right? Because, like I said a little earlier, the draft is like you're playing the lottery. It's the truth, right? Whether you like gambling or you don't like gambling, the draft is a gamble, right? Most of the people that get picked up in the first round, they're not always working out in the NFL, right? They're not. And you might be right, right? But Jalen Carter and Will Anderson as sure as you can get, right? Like if we can say, for example, the first round picks are about, let's say we can give them a 50%. Let's say we give them a 50%, success rate, right? With Jalen Carter and Will Anderson, you're giving them a 75% success rate, right? Let's just kind of put that out there right there because they are as good and polished as they come coming out of the draft. So I think when people do use generational talent, it is used a little loosely, and I do agree with what you're saying there, but it's a lot more higher probability for a Jalen Carter or Will Anderson to work out as opposed to, a Tyree Wilson, right? Which can still be a very good player, but we're looking for we're looking for a superstar player is what we're looking for, especially because it's the top 3. We're not looking for a development player. We're not looking for that. We're looking for an all-star multi-pro bowler type of player. That's what we're looking for. And when you're picking in the top 3, you kind of want that, right? And you want the odds to be in your favor. But we have seen some very top early round picks come up and they haven't worked out. So I do agree with you there. Deus. Oh my God, Deus. Okay. I sorry about it. I keep messing up. Deus. Okay, I'm gonna make a note of that. Thank you so much, Deus. Let's go with BBH. He says, thank you, Banjo. Thank you, Banjo. Oh, absolutely. If you guys do not know Chris Banjo, one of our safeties, did end up he did end up retiring. And it happened probably about 2 or 3 days ago. And I didn't make a video about it. I did post it on my Instagram though. So if you guys don't follow me on Instagram or Twitter or anything like that, I highly recommend you go ahead and do so just so you can kind of get those news of stuff that I don't really make videos about. But yes, it is, he called it quits. Very, very long time within the NFL. Definitely congratulations to Chris Banjo and his retirement. Hopefully nothing but the best for him for sure. But yes, let's move on over to AZ Fan. What's up, AZ Fan? Looking more to trade down because of the news. Oh, absolutely. 100%. 100%. This news definitely changes everything. It does. It changes everything. For the Arizona Cardinals, is not as easy as let's stay at number 3 and let's hope that Jalen Carter or Will Anderson falls to us. It's not that easy anymore, right? Now we have to be a little bit more strategic. Now we have to go ahead and start putting up that bat signal out there, right? Now we have to go out there and play this like a chess game, which I do believe Monty Osenfort has done so far, right? Monty Osenfort already planted a seed out there and said that this pick, we're taking calls on it, right? Now, we might not move off of this pick, right? Because if Chicago Bears don't move off that first overall spot, they're getting Will Anderson. Let's be honest here, right? Let's call a spade a spade. Chicago Bears, if they don't move off of that number 1 overall spot, they're getting Will Anderson. And then, number 2 for the Texans, they're getting a top quarterback or whoever the top quarterback they feel like is going to be in their eyes, right? And now we can start playing a little bit of a, start making everybody very nervous, right? Now, we are starting to hear people say that, Anthony Richardson is now going to be a top 10 quarterback. Wow. Okay. That's cool. Great for him, right? Now we have Will Levis and CJ Stroud or Bryce Young, right? Just depending on who the Texans end up picking. So we're kind of in a very, very interesting position, and it can work out for the Arizona Cardinals. It's just we need to figure out what the Chicago Bears are going to do, right? There was a rumor that came out saying that the Chicago Bears were going to go quarterback, right? That they were looking into trading Justin Fields. All smoke screens, ladies and gentlemen, all smoke screens. We all kind of knew that deep down that wasn't going to happen. The fact that, what am I trying to say? Sorry. The idea of moving off of Justin Fields is asinine, right? It's Doesn't make sense. So now the report did come out saying that the Chicago Bears are going to roll with Justin Fields, which we all knew already. We all knew that that was going to happen. And now we're finding ourselves in a situation here where they can very well get generational talent, right? They can very well get that best player available in the draft. So at this very moment, we kind of have to wait and see, right? We have to kind of wait and see how this all shakes out. Now, the best way for the Cardinals to go ahead and get as much, what's the word, as much value as we possibly can. Some might say the Arizona Cardinals can very well wait until the draft. Yeah, we can. But why wait until the last minutes, right? If you're going to trade that third overall pick, just do it, right? Do it, right? And I'm being very, very realistic here, right? Now, there was a report that came out saying, too, that DeAndre Hopkins might not be an Arizona Cardinal next year, ladies and gentlemen. This is it, right? This is the truth of the scenario right now, where if the Arizona Cardinals truly want to accumulate as much young talent as we possibly can get, this might be the year to do so, right? This might be the year to do so. But it all rides on what the Chicago Bears are going to do at number one. It all rides in there. So at this very moment, there's no doubt in my mind that I truly do feel like the Bears are going to go Will Anderson. I think they're going to do it. I think they're going to do it unless they somehow trade out of that number one overall spot, right? I don't see a world that during the draft this happens. We have about 2 months, right? A little under 2 months before the draft actually starts. But ladies and gentlemen, hear me well. We're going to find out within the top 5 who's going to be trading out of these top 5 picks within this next 2 months. I can't see a world where the Arizona Cardinals literally wait to the last minute to actually trade their pick if that's truly what they're going to do. But if Tyree Wilson is somebody that they're looking for, if Miles Murphy is somebody that they're looking for, they can get him at 7, 8, right? So, we can definitely go ahead and start piling up these picks and maybe getting that top wide receiver in next year's draft, right? I do got 2 contributions coming our way. We got AZ Fan. What's up, brother? He says, question, Mike, if we trade down to do a cornerback, defensive line, or offensive line, these are our biggest holes. Still knowing Jalen Carter won't be an option now. Wait, so let's see here. Question, Mike, if we trade down, oh, I get you. He says, if we trade down, do we go cornerback, defensive line, or offensive line? These are our big holes. Still sucks knowing Jalen Carter won't be an option now. Yeah, well, here's the thing, right? I think right now we don't know very much, right? We don't know very much. Now, I think that there was a lot of teams, and this is coming from the mouth of Ian Rappaport. There's a lot of teams that knew about the situation, right? They knew about the incident, but they didn't know that Jalen Carter was involved. Now that Jalen Carter got involved, or not got involved, but now that the breaking news came out that he was in the car during that situation, obviously that changes things, right? But I still do think that Jalen Carter could get picked up, maybe in the late round. We just need to know, is he going to be available in 2023? We just need to know, is he going to serve jail time? We just need to know, was he in the driver's seat, right? That's what we need to know. So, or was he another car racing him, right? There's just a lot of unknown right now. But question here is, if we do trade down, do we get cornerback, defensive line, or offensive line? I think that's the beauty of what we have here for the Arizona Cardinals, right? We can go somebody like, Witherspoon. We can go somewhere like Gonzalez. We can get the best tackle out there, right? Whether you think it's Johnson or you think it's Goronski, right? We can do that. Or if you want to get Brazee, right, at the interior defensive tackle, it's anything, honestly. To me, what I would do, I would really love the Arizona Cardinals to address the trenches. I would, because I do think that in the second round, if we get a cornerback, we have people talking about Keely Ringo dropping to the second round, right? We got people talking about Emmanuel Forbes dropping to the second round as well. So I think we can still get some really good, talented cornerback pieces in the later rounds. Now, if we somehow get a first round pick for DeAndre Hopkins, and I think we're living the dream there, right? But I think what we need to do this year is we need to establish the trenches. I think whether it's the defensive line or the offensive line, we need to establish the trenches. So I'm going to leave my little biasness to either defensive line or offensive line if we do trade out trade out of that third overall pick, in my opinion. Cornerback, there's a lot of good cornerbacks that we can get in this round, right? I'm sorry, in this draft. Some might say Joey Porter Jr. might be, available in the second. So I'm going to say trenches. But very good question. Very good question. We got BBH coming up with another super chat. He says, not to take away from the news from Jalen, but with what's happening, this will be Monty's first big test for the draft and see how he does with a trade, in my opinion. Oh, facts, bro. Facts. Oh, absolutely. Right. And here's the thing, too. I honestly think it's going to start here in the draft, right? I'm sorry, in free agency. Monty Osenford's test starts in free agency. It might even start before that. It might even start the moment that we decide to trade DeAndre Hopkins or keep him, right? He's got a lot of big tests coming his way. So no, this is very factual, man. Honestly, obviously the Jalen Carter news is huge because we thought that we were going to have either 1A or 1B heading into this draft, right? We thought that as Cardinal fans. Now this changes it. Now this changes the dynamic of what the Cardinals are actually going to do moving forward. But I do agree. The big test is coming the way here of Monty Osenfort, and I think his the test actually starts in free agency and how we're going to shake that up, right? Because Byron available, right? We don't know what's going to happen with Byron Murphy. We don't know what's going to happen with Zach Allen, right? So those are the two big name free agents that were coming our way. DeAndre Hopkins, another big focal point as well. So yeah, we'll see. I'm excited. I'm truly excited to see how it's going to shake out and what Monty Osenfort does moving forward. Let's see. What's up, Julian? He says trade back with Carolina for Brian Burns. Ooh, and their 9th pick for a third. So you're saying get Brian Burns and their 9th pick, and then we're going to give up our 3rd overall and maybe a 2nd or a 3rd rounder. Get Burns and maybe Gonzalez or Witherspoon. That's interesting. I know that there was rumors about Brian Burns getting traded at the trade deadline. Obviously that didn't happen. I don't know if the Panthers would do that. Now I was one to say that I don't know the Texans were going to trade away DeAndre Hopkins, right? And they ended up trading DeAndre Hopkins. So I think if the Panthers were truly going to trade Burns, they would have done it in the trade deadline. And I think that he is one of the young focal pieces that they want to build around moving forward into this next Panthers era, right? At least that's the kind of the way I like to look at it. But I like the idea of you thinking out of the box. That's actually a really, really good thing. But I do think that the Carolina Panthers might be one of the best teams to possibly trade, right? But it sucks because you're going from 3 to 9. 3 to 9. And let's be honest here. If we can get another first round pick next year, hey, wide receiver, cornerback, more trenches next year. So we can start, getting a lot of these picks coming our way. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I appreciate the contribution, Julian. What's up, Illadre? This might be a blessing in disguise. Maybe, right? I mean, maybe. I love the little emoji that you decided to put on here, right? You might be right. We have heard that Jalen Carter, this isn't the first thing that has happened off the field from now. This is worse, right? This is as bad as it gets in terms of having like an arrest warrant for you, right? This is as bad as it gets. But I have heard something off the field issue that has happened as well before that obviously it didn't really get very much news about, but it also didn't affect them, right? Because we're sitting here and now worried about not possibly landing Jalen Carter. So yeah, we'll see, right? I think it's going to be one of those things that we'll have to kind of wait and see how it all shakes out, but anything could happen here. Anything could happen. But for the new people that has joined here, appreciate you guys for tuning in. If you guys haven't already done so, definitely do me a huge favor. Smack the like button on this video and subscribe, right? Subscribe and join the family on the road to 12K. But this is what we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen. An arrest warrant has been issued for Jalen Carter, potential number 1 overall pick for reckless driving and racing. Stems from a January 15th crash that took the life of a teammate and a staffer. This is what we're mainly talking about here today, ladies and gentlemen. It is definitely, it sucks. It sucks. I think trade down is going to be definitely an option here for the Arizona Cardinals. Let's look at Tankathon here real quick, and let's see who else is available for the Arizona Cardinals to possibly trade, right? The Indianapolis Colts might do so, right? I think that would be the dream scenario if the Indianapolis Colts did decide to trade with us, right? I think that would be the absolute dream scenario because literally would be going one back. You know what I mean? And we'll still accumulate picks. Now, the Indianapolis Colts are a little tricky. They might still sit there if Chicago Bears still sit there. Because if the Bears sit there, you know, that's one quarterback taken, right? And they can get their second best quarterback if their first one doesn't get taken by Houston, right? So I think there's a lot to kind of deep dive into this. Now, I know that the Lions eventually said that they're going to be rolling with Jared Goff moving forward, or at least this next year. We did hear Pete Carroll saying that they do like some quarterback prospects coming into this year's draft. So what I do think that, I think that the Seattle Seahawks they're just trying to keep all their options open, right? But I do think that they're going to go defensive player. I thought at one point that they might go quarterback, but I don't think so anymore. The teams that we really need to kind of look out for is the Atlanta Falcons, which I know, right? They got Desmond Ridder over there. The Vegas Raiders, I think that's another team to look out for, and the Carolina Panthers. Those are the top 3 teams within the top 10 that I can see trying to get a quarterback kind of, moving, trying to get our spot at the 3rd overall spot. But if the Carolina Panthers do truly like Anthony Richardson, they might risk it. They might risk it. So we'll see. Let's look at the chat here. If you guys don't know, ladies and gentlemen, if there's any Suns fans in here, today is the debut of KD. Just FYI, just dropping a little nugget out there, ladies and gentlemen. Today is the debut of KD in the Suns game versus the Charlotte Hornets. So if you guys are going to be watching that or going to the game, I'm excited to see it here. Just trying to plant that little seed in there. But yeah, I think the Atlanta Falcons can definitely be a team, right? They talked about Desmond Ridder, but I'm not sure if they're completely sold on him. Carolina Panthers, an obvious no-brainer there. The Las Vegas Raiders, yes, they have a young quarterback there, but they got rid of Derek Carr for a reason. So there's that. We got some people in the chat saying KD will be, yes, he will be on a minute restriction. It's still pretty cool. Yes, it is happening tonight. It has been confirmed. Go to the Suns Instagram page, ladies and gentlemen. It has been confirmed. Let's see here. The Colts. Yeah, and here's the thing. Michael, I know that you're a Colts/Cardinals fans as well. I guess my question to you would be, do you think that the Colts would trade up one spot to make sure that the Cardinals don't trade away that 3rd overall spot to anybody else? Right? Because I think that would be the dream scenario for the Arizona Cardinals now that this Jalen Carter news came out. Because if Jalen Carter is going to go through jail time, right, I still do think he's going to get drafted. He's an unbelievable talent. He might even get drafted in the first round. In the late first round, we might still see Jalen Carter going. But the top 10 is going to be very, very tricky to see Jalen Carter going, especially if he won't be available. But like I said, we have to wait for news to kind of unfold. So right now, being that the Colts are sitting at the number 4 spot and the Cardinals are sitting at the number 3 spot, do the Colts get antsy, right? Do the Colts get nervous and do decide to trade up with the Arizona Cardinals because of the Raiders, the Falcons, the Carolina Panthers possibly wanting to get that 3rd overall spot from the Cardinals? Because we're taking calls right now. We're taking calls. It's been confirmed by Monty Osenfor. He came out and said, yes, we're taking calls. He said. So this might leave it open for us, right? Now the Chicago Bears, they can stay pat because if you think about it, ladies and gentlemen, it's so much harder to trade to the 1st overall spot than the 3rd overall spot, right? It's so much harder. To do that. Now, I want to take a look at one thing here real quick. I want to take a look at one thing real quick. I want to see what the 49ers did. I want to see what the 49ers did to trade into the 3rd overall spot. Let's take a look here and what they got. Let me see if I can find something here real quick. Does anybody remember what the 49ers end up giving away? Let's see here. Okay, so the 49ers moved to the 3rd overall spot to select Trey Lance. The price tag for such a decision included a first-round pick in 2022 and 2023, as well as a 3rd-round pick. Woo! Okay, but granted, yes, but the 49ers were sitting outside the top 10. Is that correct? I think that is correct. Okay, so this is what they said. Okay, so the 49ers, this is what the 49ers gave up. So in order for them to get to the 3rd overall spot to get Trey Lance, which we still don't know what Trey Lance is going to be, right? Let's be honest here. Is Brock Purdy going to be the quarterback? Is it Trey Lance? They have so much messes over there. So what they ended up giving up, what the 49ers gave up to get the 3rd overall spot was a first-round pick in 2022 and a 2023 overall first round as well, and they also got a 3rd rounder in the second 2022. But that 2021 was also affected, right? Didn't they swap picks? Okay. So we might be able to see something like that. Ladies and gentlemen. We might be able. They were sitting at 12. Appreciate it. Yeah, appreciate it. So thank you, Edward. Yeah, they were sitting at 12. Wow. So they were sitting at the 12 overall spot. So they also got a 2nd round pick, right? They got a 2nd round pick for this year. No, I'm sorry, a 3rd round pick. I apologize. They got a 3rd round pick for this last year, 2022. I keep forgetting it's 2023. So 1st round pick for 2022, 2023. Well, I guess it's not that much. They might have just switched to 2022 and then they got a 2023 and then they got a 3rd. I mean, value changes a lot, right? Every single year it changes. So we're going to get another 1st round pick in my mind, right? Whether it's the 7th, 8th, or the 9th pick getting switched for the 3rd, that's what the Cardinals do decide to do. I think we're going to get another 1st round pick next year, right? If they want to throw in another pick as well to kind of entice, that's great. But we also have other teams that are looking for quarterbacks as well, right? And at least in my mind, 7, 8, and 9, they're all looking for quarterbacks. So we'll see. But they were sitting at 12. I appreciate you guys. Somebody in chat says, I hate 49ers. Well, yeah, we're not the biggest fans of 49ers, right? We're Cardinal fans. Yeah, I mean, woo, okay. Well, this can definitely open up a lot of intriguing things for the Arizona Cardinals, especially if we are going to decide to trade back. Got somebody in the chat says release Chosen Anderson. Oh, him. We got somebody that chat says make Suns go. Well, that's the thing, right? I'm not sure. We have a lot of great content creators that cover the Suns. I don't want to step on any toes. Maybe come playoffs, we will be doing something for the Suns. But I definitely don't want to step on any toes for people that are already doing Suns content, which a lot of great people out there right now. Let's see here. We got somebody in the chat says, I can't remember the last time we had 2 first-round picks. That would be cool. Yes, and that's the thing. I think if the Arizona Cardinals do trade away that 3rd overall spot, and let's just say, for example, it's the 7th, the 8th, or the 9th, right? And I'm talking about the Raiders. I'm talking about the Falcons or the Panthers. Any of those teams, if they do decide to get our 3rd overall spot, I think we can get a 1st-round pick back, right? We can get their 1st round pick, which is a top 10 pick still. We'll give them our 3rd. We'll take a 1st round next year. And if they want to throw in another one, hey, not a 1st rounder, but if they want to throw in another one, like let's say, for example, a 2nd rounder, right? We'll take that 2nd rounder. Like, let's say this. Let's say the Carolina Panthers want to move to the number 3 spot. Okay, we'll give you the number 3 spot. We want your number 9, which we're trading for, right? So we're still picking top 10. We'll take a 1st round next year, and we'll take your 2nd this year. So you know what that means? Trenches. Cornerback. I think this could work out for the Arizona Cardinals if we do decide to trade back because of this whole Jalen Carter news, ladies and gentlemen. I think this could very well work out for the Arizona Cardinals in our favor. This could work out. This could work out. Now I still want to know what's going to happen with Jalen, right? It's still very fresh. It's still very, very new. It's still very new right now. So we don't know very much on what's going to happen with Jalen. All we know is that there is a warrant for his arrest. That's all we know. That's all we know. A warrant for his arrest right now. So as of right now, TBD, right? As of right now, TBD to figure out what's going to happen with Jalen Carter and if he's still going to be a first-round pick, which I still do think he's going to be a first-round pick. Yeah, somebody will take him. Oh, absolutely. If not top 10, he's going to go top 15, top 20, maybe even a late first rounder. He's going to go there. I don't think he's going to drop to the second round. Unless it's something like he's going to go to jail or prison for a year, then that's different, right? But I do think that if it's going to be something that's, because let's be honest, the Cardinals are I don't think they're the type of team that they want to have that bad image. We worry so much about image here. So much about image. And I know it's ironic that we've put up with what we put up. I understand. But we worry about image. And I don't know if Jalen Carter will be the guy for the Arizona Cardinals because of this news. It's unfortunate. I want him. He's great. He's wonderful. But man, it's going to be interesting to see how this shakes out. Let's see who we got. Somebody in the chat says Lions have 2 first-round picks this year. Let's give the Lions the third and get the Lions picks. Well, the issue is that the Lions don't need a quarterback, right? Unless the Lions somehow lie to everybody and they do decide to go get a quarterback, then that's different. But that's the thing. I think the Lions are comfortable with staying where they're at. They got a good thing going on with the Detroit right now. With Detroit and the Lions, they got some good things going on. They got some great young pieces, some really cool pieces that's going to be coming up for the future. And I like Dan Campbell. I do a lot. I don't know if the Lions would do that. Just because they're not going quarterback, they can stay, right? They can stay where they're at. They're picking 6th. They could still get a top 10 prospect, right? Whether that's a tackle, right? A good defensive lineman, an edge player. This edge class is deep. This edge class is deep. So that's one thing that we got going for us, right? This edge class is deep. So we'll see. We'll see. Now, there is some people outside the top 10 as well that might want to get a quarterback as well, but we're not gonna touch that with the 6-foot pole, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not trying to move out of this top 10. No way, Jose, am I trying to move out of this top 10. I'm not sure if anybody else feels any differently in the chat, but I'm not trying to move out of this top 10. I still want to get possibly the best corner in our eyes, right? Possibly the best tackle. Possibly the best, I guess that kind of stays there, right? Maybe best wide receiver, right? Let's say we did get rid of DeAndre Hopkins. Quentin Johnson will be there, but I'm going to stay clear of that. Like I said a little earlier, what I want the Arizona Cardinals to do is trenches. Trenches. We need to build an offensive line. We need to build a defensive line that's fierce. That's what we need to do moving forward. So yes, we'll see. Somebody says we should bring back Petty Pete back. I think the bridges have been burned with the Cardinals and Patrick Peterson. I don't think that's going to happen. Let's see here. We got somebody says Christian Gonzalez or Tyree Wilson. There was a report that came out that said Tyree Wilson has a crazy wingspan. And to kind of give you a little bit more insight, or I guess more of a comparison, he has a bigger wingspan than Chandler Jones. So if that makes you any happy, this man has a huge wingspan. So Tyree Wilson starting to move up people's draft boards, but so has Myles Murphy as well. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm really hoping we can get our center. Yes. There's some good centers. Like 2 or 3, right? Maybe 2 or 3. 3 would be pushing it, but I do think there'll be 2 good centers. Maybe if we get John Michael Schmidt, right? Maybe in the second round, maybe we pull the trigger and get him. Or maybe we wait to get the Ohio State center, right? Later on in the draft, maybe the 3rd round, something like that. But if we can trade out of this pick because this whole Jalen Carter news, I think it gives us a little bit more ammunition to really start building the line, right? Yeah. So we'll see. Let's keep it with the chat here. Somebody in the chat says we care about image. Why the heck? And that's exactly why I added the that little bottom piece right there, because I understand as an organization, we had to go through a lot of bad imaging, right? We had to. And it's so hypocritical of us. And I don't mean us as fans, but as an organization, very hypocritical of the Arizona Cardinals organization to say we care about image when we dealt with what we dealt with. I that's why I definitely added that in there, because I agree with you. But it's so hard for me to believe that the Arizona Cardinals are going to go Jalen Carter now. I think this just changes everything now. If Will Anderson falls, sheesh, let's go. Let's go. But this is it. This is it. Who's going to trade with the Bears? Who's going to trade with the Cardinals? That's the biggest news, right? That's the biggest news out there. That's the biggest news. Who's going to, if Chicago Bears trade the first overall spot, we don't have to do anything because Will Anderson will be there. We need to find out if the Chicago Bears truly feel like now that Jalen Carter has possibly took his way out of the top 10. Now we got to figure out what the Chicago Bears are going to do. So it's a lot. It's a lot. We got my guy AZ fan. He says, where'd it go? John Michael is a must. He's a diamond in the rough. I agree, man. I agree. John Michael Schmitz, bro. I want him for sure. I want him for sure. There is in another, I forgot what his name was, Ohio State's center. I always forget his name. Luke Weipler. Ohio State. Luke Weipler. I like him as well. I like him as well as a possibility. So if we don't get John Michael Schmidt in the second, and let's say we go cornerback, right? We could possibly land Luke Weipler, right? Now, John Michael Schmidt is to me the best, like the best center in this draft. So I feel like if we can get him, that would be dynamite. But we'll see. Somebody in the chat says, since Kyler is going nowhere for now, we have to get a Mauler in front of him and make sure those guards spots, especially if he's under center. Yes, 100% agree. 100% agree. Somebody in the chat says Eli Ricks from Alabama. And see, that's the thing. Like, we could still go cornerback. So let's not get tripped up of like, oh, I want to get cornerback in the draft. Like, second round, there's still an available, we can get a cornerback, right? Eli Ricks, right? Man, so some names are just somebody said that Joey Porter Jr. might be available. Keely Ringo might be available. So we can still get a good cornerback in the second round if they don't go Joe Michael Schmidt. But that would be the ideal. Like, if we could somehow trade back and accumulate more picks, we can still probably get like a lot of top prospects coming out of this draft. We just got to play this right. We got to play this right. O-line is crucial. Facts. Oh, that's very factual. 100%. We've seen it, right? We've seen it last year. The teams that succeed, if you don't have a superstar type, and I mean like a Patrick Mahomes type of, superstar type of quarterback, we all know that it's very important to have an offensive line. It's very important. Center is something that we absolutely need. I truly do believe Ronnie Hudson's going to call it quits. I truly believe Ronnie Hudson's going to call it quits. I think he's just waiting. He's waiting to come out here and waiting to pounce. So, yeah, a lot to unfold, right? A lot to unfold with this breaking news that's happening, but it gives us a little bit more things to kind of obviously talk about, right? A lot more different scenarios, a lot more. We don't have to stay at the third overall spot anymore because of the situation that we're in right now, right? Or the situation that Jalen Carter kind of found himself in right now. So a lot to obviously dive right into, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate you guys for being here. If you guys haven't already smacked the like button, if you guys could definitely do that favor for me right now, smack it up. We got over 100 people in here right now. Hopefully we're pushing 75. Hopefully we're pushing 80. Definitely smack it up if you guys can do so. And also subscribe if you like this type of content, the engagement, the interaction between Cardinal fans and Cardinal fans. The chat is always very fun to kind of go back and forth with. So definitely go ahead and subscribe it up on the road to 12K. Can't do it without you guys. So definitely subscribe it up and smack the like button. I appreciate you guys. But yeah, obviously a lot, right? A lot to dive right into with this whole big breaking news that's happening here right now. Here we go. Another super chat coming our way. We got AZ fan coming up clutch with another contribution. He says Cardinals won't draft Carter because of Monty Osenfort saying egos won't be tolerated. The third pick will be Will Anderson or trade back. Gonna be crazy. Yeah, man. And that's the thing, right? I agree. Jalen Carter, and I know a lot of people like them. A lot of people like them. Whenever we did a poll, I always felt like Jalen Carter was either 10% to 15% more than Will Anderson had in terms of percentages when it comes down to a poll. People wanted Jalen Carter more because when they look at Jalen, they think of how dominant Aaron Donald used to be, right? Against the Cardinals, how dominant of a fashion he used to be, right? And I think that's what a lot of people are kind of portraying. But Will Anderson is as good as it gets coming off the edge, right? So if we somehow see the Chicago Bears staying where they're at, I think the Cardinals need to do their due diligence and trade out of that third overall pick, right? But if the Chicago Bears do decide to move off, we stay. We stay and we get that Will Anderson pick and we see what happens moving forward. But I agree. This draft is going to be absolutely insane, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Somebody in the chat says Seahawks will pick him up. You might be right, man. You might be right because Jalen Carter, and that's what freaks me out too. That's what freaks me out. First overall, top 10, I think he found his way out. But you might see one of those teams that might still do so. You might still see one of those teams that still do so. Still try to pick him up, right? Because he's still great. Still great talent. But as of right now, what we know is this. It's very minimal. It's very minimal news right now. And what we know is this. And like I said, it's very minimal news. And it's from Ari. It says an arrest warrant has been issued for Georgia defensive tackle and potential number 1 pick Jalen Carter for reckless driving and racing stems from the January 15th crash that took the life of a teammate and staffer. So that's kind of where we're at right now, right? As Cardinal fans, right? So a lot of we'll see. a lot of we'll see what will happen here. But I do agree with you 100%. Just what my guy BBH was saying a little earlier in the stream. If Chicago Bears stay, we move. If Chicago Bears move, we stay because Jalen Carter will be there. So a lot of openings, a lot of opportunities here for the Arizona Cardinals kind of moving forward. Looking at the Tankathon's draft order, I don't want the Arizona Cardinals to move past the top 10 if we do trade back. I do not want us to leave the top 10. Heck, I don't want us to leave the top 9, right? Philadelphia Eagles don't need a quarterback. So we don't have to worry about them. So that's why I'm saying top 9. Carolina, Atlanta, Vegas, Indianapolis Colts. 4 teams that pick after the Cardinals. Hey, this is going to be a wild ride here for the Arizona Cardinals kind of moving forward. But like Monty Osenfort said, we're taking calls. We're taking calls. We don't want to move out of that third overall spot, but we're taking calls. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Somebody in the chat, yeah, those 2 misdemeanors can lead into a felony. And that's the thing. We don't know, right? That's the thing. Like, this can be, you're not going to be able to play in 2023 because you're in jail, right? That's what this could be. We don't know if he was, so we don't know if he was in the same car. We don't know if he was egging him on in a different car. We don't know. A lot of unknown. A lot of unknown. So it's just, right now is just what we have, right? It's just going to change the dynamic of what we're looking at moving into the 2023 season here for the Arizona Cardinals. That's what we do know. Because believe it or not, we do care about image. Believe it or not. Let's keep it going here in the chat. Let's see what else you guys are saying here in the chat. Let's see here. Cardinals should try to trade the third for the Lions to first. I think I saw somebody say that same thing earlier as well. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that will give any intrigue to the Lions to do so, though. In my opinion, I don't know if they would. What's up, it's Wally, man? Appreciate the contribution. He says 98.7 reported that he was in a Jeep that. Oh, no. Really? He was in a Jeep that flooded the scene. Oh, brother. No way. Yeah, that's bad. That's bad. Let me see if I can find that. Thank you so much for letting me know. And that's why I appreciate you guys for obviously coming through, right? And letting me know what you guys hear, because I'm only one man. See what Jalen Carter prospects. Let me see if I can read into this here real quick. So let's read this. The investigation found that Chandler LaCroix, driver of the 2021 Ford Expedition, Jalen Carter, driver of a 2021 Jeep Trackhawk, were operating the vehicles in a manner consistent with the race shortly after leaving the town of Athens. The evidence demonstrated that both vehicles switched between lanes and drove the opposing lanes. Oh my goodness, the toxicology. Oh my goodness, y'all. Oh, this is bad. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Thanks so much for letting me know it's Wally. But yeah, it looks like alcohol is involved. It looks like there might be a hit and run situation involved. This looks bad, ladies and gentlemen. This is bad. Yeah, this is bad. I appreciate you for letting me know it's Wally. But yes, what we're hearing here is that we might be talking about a hit and run / impairment issue. Dang. That's not good. Yeah, that's not good, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, that's not good. That's going to change a lot. That's going to change a lot. When I first originally read it, I was like, oh, maybe he was just in the vehicle, right? Maybe it was an accident that happened in the vehicle, but no, it wouldn't make sense that the crash was so bad that it only killed one person and the news didn't come out about him, right? So yes, now that I'm thinking about it, it seems like it was a two cars in a situation. The car that crashed, unfortunately, there was a fatality crash that happened, and he was in the other car with a possible impairment in a hit and run situation. Oh my God, geez, that's not good, y'all. Gio says ESPN article covers in detail. I probably should have looked at the article in detail. Oh my God, that's not good, man. Yeah, that's bad. That's bad. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for keeping me in the loop. Yeah. Wow. All right. Well, it's all going to depend on Chicago. 100%. Wow. Pray for everyone involved. Facts. Absolutely. 100%. The running away from the scene, you don't do that. Impairment, you don't do that. Come on. Very unfortunate. Now, I don't even think he's going to go top first. I don't think he's going to go first round anymore. Maybe second, maybe third, maybe fourth. I don't know if he's even going to do that. It's crazy. It's crazy, y'all. So dang. Okay. Somebody says, yeah, it's a wrap. He's going to jail. Facts. Facts, dude. Facts. Wow. You don't want to unstable. Yeah, no, you're right there, man. Dude, okay. Well, now we know a little bit more details. I appreciate you guys for rocking with me. Thank you so much for letting me know and keeping me in the loop. But this definitely changes the dynamic of a lot of the Jalen Carter news, ladies and gentlemen. And very unfortunate, right? Unfortunate for the potential of what his career could have been. And also very unfortunate news for the person that was in the fatal accident, right? I believe there was 2 people in the other car. Definitely very unfortunate news all around. Just a situation that you don't want to find yourself in. Just very, very, very unfortunate. Yeah, you don't want that type of. That's bad. Yeah, I don't think he's getting drafted either, man. Now listening to that, Yeah, I don't think he's gonna get drafted anymore. That's bad. That's felony type of stuff. Prison, maybe even type of stuff. Um, yeah. Unfortunate for 100% for the lives lost. That's number one important, right? Number one important. Definitely for the lives lost. That's the most unfortunate part. I think I'm looking at it as a guy who worked so hard to get himself in a level of being a possible number one overall pick, right? Someone who's worked very hard. Now, granted, we don't really know the guy, right? We don't know him personally, right? We always look out from the outside looking in. I guess the idea of being unfortunate for a guy that like had everything laid out for him with his hard work is kind of taken away. But it is a decision that he made, right? The decision that he made to drive and pair, it's bad. Very, very bad. Very bad. We did say Kevin Durant does start today. Yes, for sure. I'm excited about that, right? Obviously, don't want to make any light of the situation. It's a very bad situation. But for Suns fans that are out there, yes, there is going to be the debut of KD happening today versus the Charlotte Hornets. So I think there's a lot of excitement. A lot of excitement here for Cardinal fans and I'm sorry, Cardinal. A lot of for Phoenix Suns fans, moving forward. So I'm excited about that for sure. Um, Anish, what's up, Anish? Appreciate you, man. Yeah, I know. I feel like it's been a while since I did a live stream. And I feel like it's been a very long time since I did a live stream. I feel like this is the time to do so, to obviously, talk about it as a community and kind of figure out where we go from here, right? Very crazy news. It's definitely stuff that you don't want to hear or see. The last time we saw something like this was it Larry? Is it Jeremy Tunsil or Larry? What was it? Is it Jeremy Tunsil, the offensive tackle? Now, granted, that was a video. That was a video he had with the bong, right? Like that's the situation that he was dealing with. Though he was a top 10 prospect, and he ended up leaving the top 10 because of a video with the bong, right? Now we're seeing something completely different. You can't compare the two top situations, but this is kind of what's reminding me of where like, the story came out, and we're like, oof, yeah, we might not go that route, right? We might not go that route anymore. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. What's up, Travis? He's been rocking with the channel for quite a while now. Thank you so very much, Travis. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for all the people that subscribe, by the way. Yeah, we're so close to, I guess, what 700 away from hitting 12K and only the start, right? We're trying to hit 12, 20, 30, 40. We're trying to go to the moon with this channel. So appreciate you guys for rocking with me. If you guys know any other Cardinal fans, definitely please let them know about this channel. Share this with your, I don't know, TikTok. Put it on your story. Put it on whatever, right? We're trying to get as much out there as we possibly can. Best way to grow is with you guys, right? That's the best way. So I appreciate you guys for being here. Let's see here. No NFL team is going to draft an NFL player that has a warrant facing jail time. Now you're right there. You're right there. At one point, I was going to say late first rounder, but now listening or reading into what 98.7 has to say, and I appreciate you, Wally, for giving me that contribution and letting me know to look into that. It looks like it looks bigger than just Warrant out for the rest, right? We're talking about impairment. We're talking about fleeing the scene. It's bad. It's definitely bad. He probably goes to jail, right? I mean, he didn't kill the people, but he was part of the racing and leaving the scene. So he probably, oh yeah, oh no, he's. Keep in mind this, ladies and gentlemen. When you're talking about impairment, when you're talking about this, can be maybe a manslaughter case. I mean, I don't know the law very much, but yeah, I think jail time is definitely something that can happen, right? I mean, I don't know. I'm not the judge, right? That's definitely going to be a little bit more, but I think jail time is probably going to happen personally, but we don't 100% know. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens here. Yeah, so I appreciate you guys, right? But we're hitting the hour marker, right? I swear, every single time, like I feel like we're always so like these hours go by so quick on these live streams, and I thank you so very much for being here, everybody. By the way, smack the like button if you guys haven't done so already. But we are going to close shop here pretty soon. I think that we just wanted to make sure that we let everybody know in what's going on, right? We wanted to make sure that we know and allowing everybody what's going on. You know, it's your opinion to go ahead and put out there, but now that we know a little bit more of the details, with all the news that has come out, I think it's safe to say that Jalen Carter probably will not be. Yeah, well, he's probably not getting drafted, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. So everybody, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Thank you, everybody, from the bottom of my heart. I truly, truly do. We got a lot of news coming our way, right? We got free agency coming our way. We got the draft coming our way. So we got some content coming our way until probably the end of April. Keep rocking with me. I appreciate you guys for being here. Maybe by May, June, and July, which is the dead time of the NFL, we're probably going to stop. We're gonna still do more content, but I'm gonna have to try to be creative and figure out a way to continue to keep this channel alive. But obviously, when August gets here, in September is going to be the next 2023 season for the Cardinals, which I'm absolutely super excited about. So at this very moment, I appreciate everybody for rocking with us. Thank you so very much for coming through. Smack the like button if you guys haven't done so already. Have a great rest of your day, and as always, go. My bad. As always, go Cards.